I'm John Woodcock, and my startup is Bakery Butler, which is, like Zach was saying, is an online platform for home bakers, small bakeries, maybe even big bakeries. Who knows? Basically, my wife and I had a bakery a few years ago called Lulus Custom Cakes. And being a web developer and a search engine marketing guy, I did what I do. I built a website, and it did really well, actually. And we started getting a lot of requests, and a lot of traffic from Google searches and things like that, which was really impressive. But the problem was, we would get a lot of requests, and when we'd send quotes out, we wouldn't get any responses from those quotes. And we couldn't figure out why that was. And this went on for a couple of months, actually. So I started doing some research and found that the problem was our response time. And so I took data from the length of our responses and cross-referenced them with our conversion rate, and found that unless we responded between 0 and 10 minutes of getting a request, our conversion rates just plummeted. So I had to figure out a way that we could respond to these incoming requests within 10 minutes. So I did what I always do. I started programming and playing around and modifying the website, and basically came up with, instead of the online requests coming to our email, I had them go to a database. And every time a new request came in, I would send out an alert to our phone. And this allowed us to do two things. First, it allowed us to get the request anywhere at any time. And also we could respond to those requests immediately. So if we were out shopping or out with kids or driving to deliver a cake, one of us could get a request and respond immediately. And so basically, the result was that we got more conversions. They went up to 60–80%. And instead of doing 1 to 2 cakes a month, we were doing 2 to 3 cakes each week, which was really awesome. And Lulu's Custom Cakes was on the map. We actually even got invited to be on the Food Network Challenge. And we were doing some bigger cakes. And I even put LEDs on a cake and lit it up. And I was on track to start making things move around and be the next Ace of Cakes. And but then we, it got to be a little much for us. So Renee, my wife Renee, always wanted to be a nurse, and she felt like owning a bakery and doing a storefront wasn't for her. And I obviously, she was the baker and I was the decorator. I couldn't decorate without cake. And she didn't want me to go find another baker, so we let it go. So Lulu's Custom Cakes was, and you can actually search for us on Facebook. We still have our cakes out there, so you can check us out. And if it's a really, really nice cake, I can convince her to maybe come out of retirement and do some special cakes. So, but I didn't want the software to go to waste, so that's why I created Bakery Butler. Essentially, I took the software that I built and made it into a subscription-based platform. And so I'll give you, so basically this is what happens. A new request comes in to Bakery Butler, and it's a new happy request. And after a few minutes, he starts getting cold. And this, the software automatically updates all the requests. So as more time goes by, they get really cold. And eventually they get angry because they're not getting answered. And so the new to cold to angry happens really quickly. So I did this so that people could look on their phones. They could even have it mounted on a TV in their bakery, see requests coming in, and respond quickly to the cold ones, and to really take care of the angry ones even quicker. And so this is why it works. It's easy to register and set up. It's super easy to use from anywhere. I made it, user experience is really important to me, so I wanted to make it as easy as possible to use. So basically, you open the app, you take a look, and you click on the request, and you could send a response right there. You don't have to go to your email. You don't have to read through any other websites or anything. It's all right there. And you can respond to new requests immediately and get the sale. And that's the most important thing, is converting that request into a paying customer. And so what's next? We have a bunch of features that we want to build into it. Right now we're in beta testing phase, where you can actually take the form, the Bakery Butler form, put it on your website, and start collecting orders. And you can manage those orders. But eventually we would like to add tools for managing the bakery, managing your inventory, maybe putting recipes in there, and eventually just some native apps for even better mobility. And then you could get like push messages and notifications and stuff like that. The technology is getting there. JavaScript has come a long way, and you can actually tap into a lot of Android and iOS native features, push notifications, maps, things like that. So also I'm thinking about adding payment gateways, mainly like PayPal and Stripe and some of those other web-based platforms, and a community area where they can share the recipes and tips, things like that. And unlike everybody else, my presentation is really quick, and that's pretty much it. So, any questions?
Any tools for getting a quote back to people or formulating a response?
Yeah, actually, the way it works is I don't have a slide for that. I should have made a slide for that. Basically, in the request list, you just click on the request, and a form appears. You can type in your response and the estimated amount, and you hit send, and boom, an email goes out to your client. Now, what's different from just using your email is the client will get an email from you with your bakery's name on it, not Bakery Butler, and there'll be a button to confirm that order. And when they click to confirm, it takes them to a page within Bakery Butler where they can complete their order and even pay for their order right there. So there's no back and forth with email with the baker anymore. Now it's I send you a quote. You can either confirm it or just delete the email. And once you confirm, the icon changes to a gold smiley face, so you know that you got a new order. And no, go ahead.
Do you have like menu items attached to this? I mean, can the baker have pictures and things like that of the items that they do, so that the people can say, this is what I want, but I'd like this, or differences and that kind of thing? I mean,
that's something that we did a lot. We exchanged when we were exchanging emails.
Right.
We would get pictures and URLs to other cakes and stuff like that. So the plan is to be able to add those to the request. So, and actually, after you get the request, I, as the baker, can add more images or notes or things like that. And again, it's going to be icon based, and I really should have a slot for that. And but trust me, it's really easy to use, and a lot of fun. And our target audience is, I didn't cover that, but our target audience is home bakers. But we're also targeting small bakeries. And because we're in the beta testing phase, I have a home baker in South Carolina. I'm trying to get a couple of bakeries here locally to help me work out the kinks and stuff. And I'm hoping in the next 30 days, it'll be live and ready for people to start signing up.
So you're really thinking you could take people that maybe aren't, maybe they're home bakers, maybe they're not necessarily totally full time with it, things like that, and they can get orders here and there from you guys and say, okay, now I'm going to do some products or whatever. Maybe somebody who has something else to do, to get back and kind of get the market work with.
I think so. That's one of our targets is home bakers, and converting that passion for baking into a small business and helping them to be able to have a business from their home. Fortunately, Virginia has a cottage food law that allows you to do that. And
Can you do any food?
you can. You
So
can do
you
catering.
Have somebody if somebody was, let's say, they're a really good lasagna cook, and you have some secret recipe or something like that.
You could. And hey, you bake lasagna, so you could sell it through Bakery Butler. Actually, you know, Bakery Butler can be used for anything. My brother was actually thinking about a pressure washing business, washing houses. You could use Bakery Butler for that. Now, I'm targeting bakeries because it's a niche market that I know. And in addition to providing these tools, I also have a blog where I provide SEO tips for bakeries and some business tips and things like that. And I really want to enable people to have a business. And there's a lot of families out there hurting, a lot of unemployed people that can open a bakery from their home and start delivering cakes. And it's pretty easy. And you would be amazed at how much people will pay for a cake. I don't know if you've ordered any cakes from these custom bakeries, but we were doing first birthday cakes. An Elmo cake would go for what, like $200-300 for a 1-year-old. And they would come back and buy another cake for their second birthday. And we could charge even more, yes.
How does your pricing model work? Is there an upfront fee and pay a monthly fee?
We've gone back and forth with that. I think what we're going to do is go with a 30-day free trial. And we're making it really easy to sign up. All we ask for is an email address. And that gets you an account. And then you have 30 days to use it. And after that 30 days, you'll get an email that says, hey, your 30 days is up. And they'll have an opportunity to sign up and give us their card information and all that stuff.
And how much would it be for them?
We're thinking $20 a month or $200 for a year. It's a very low price point because we're competing with Shopify. I don't know if you're familiar with Shopify, but it basically does exactly the same thing, but on a larger scale. There's plugins and things like that for Shopify where you can customize it for a bakery, but they don't have the tools that we have, and it's not as easy to use. And we've got a lot of feedback from home bakers and small bakeries that say they would never use something like this because it's so hard to use and it's so cumbersome. And so that's why we're really striving to make it easy to use is our mantra.
What's your estimated market size?
I have done some research. Wow, that's a really good question. Thanks, Jeremy. I think estimated there in this region, there's 20,000 bakeries in the Mid-Atlantic region.
What do you consider Mid-Atlantic? Maryland, North Carolina?
Yeah, Virginia, Northern Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, maybe up in the Boston area. Now, there's a lot of bakeries that are not on the map. One of our target audiences are home bakeries like Lulus Custom Cakes, and we did advertise, but we weren't like out there like some of the bakeries. People were finding this pretty good. But there's a lot of sassy cakes, for instance. I've done a lot of research, and I heard about sassy cakes yesterday from someone in his office. They didn't show up in my Google search. They didn't show up in my.
They're not open.
Oh, they're not. Maybe that's why I didn't find them in the Google search. Thanks, Deanie. She's going to send me to an empty lot. And any other questions? One of my marketing ploys is to actually start going to bakeries and pitching. So this is a really good experience for us.
Yes. So you said like Shopify was too difficult, which I can understand. What would be your onboarding process? I guess that's because it seems like people who have retail businesses, they don't really want to mess with technology.
Right.
So how do you overcome that hurdle?
I think with a brick and mortar store, I think I really have to push the idea that you can use this for your brick and mortar store. It doesn't just have to be online. And Uncle Al's really made me think of that because when you go in there, you pay on. They have an iPad set up where you could pay. If you went into a bakery and they had an iPad where you could shop for cakes and actually pick the one you want, and it goes into Bakery Butler, and they could have a television, like I said, mounted in the back, and that order could pop up. So you could use a solution for a brick and mortar store, and not just for taking online orders, but actually managing your orders internally. So that's one angle that I can come in.
So if they're Square.
Square or Stripe or one of those. And really, that's where the beta testing is going to come in. I'm hoping to get bakeries to give me feedback and tell me what they would like. And if I can get 2 or 3 bakeries to beta test for a month, I think the data I get from them would really help me build a solid product to take to market. AJ?
What kind of support model are you looking at for the bakers who are opposed to using technology, but you manage to convince them, to try your Bakery Butler? How are you going to support them? What's part of that pitch there?
That's an excellent question. Right now, it's just me, and I've been doing. I have one beta tester, and I've been doing really well with keeping up with her emails, and so yeah. Hmm? Ah, yeah. Right. Yeah. So yeah. So I'll be talking to Jeremy about outsourcing some of my maintenance stuff, and yeah, another one.
So it seems to me like, somebody orders a custom birthday cake, like you're saying, and then come back. Is there any functionality, like, so this person ordered, it's March, whatever it is, comes out in February next year, that you have some type of reminder that this person ordered a birthday cake that, at this time next year, to remind them, maybe you should reach out to these people.
Yeah, and actually we could, because we're collecting the email addresses from the people ordering cakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could actually do that, and actually send out automatic reminders to them to say, hey, it's time to order a cake. Yeah. That's one of the ideas. Because we're collecting the data.
Yeah.
There's lots of reminder type, notification type things that we could do, and that stuff hasn't been built because I'm waiting to get feedback from the beta testers to find out what they want. I don't want to make the mistake of spending time building what I think they'll need. I have a laundry list of features I want to build, but I want to build them in the order that they're needed, and not waste too much time. And I actually cooked this idea up. Our bakery's been closed for about 2.5 years, and we still get. My wife still gets phone calls. They managed to find her phone number somehow, and call and order cakes. And I've removed all of her phone numbers about a year ago. So there's still a need there, and the urge for me to try to learn how to bake a cake is there. But I'm afraid I'm just not a baker. I'm not a cook. I can heat up water and put noodles in it, and that's about it. So yeah. So where was I going with that? I lost my train of thought. I started thinking about noodles. So if there aren't any more questions, my thing timed out. So info@bakerybutler.com is the email address if you need to ask me any more questions. The website's bakerybutler.com, and if you know a baker who doesn't have a website, my company UserX can also build websites for them. Jeremy John Rich Media is a WordPress expert, so which is Jeremy Johnson. He's not there anymore. But yeah, that's it.
Great job.
All right, thank you.